My name is Rachel Thompson, and I've always been the kind of woman who believed in commitment. I grew up watching my parents go through life side by side. Quiet support, steady love, no drama. I thought that's how it was supposed to be. So when I married Jason 6 years ago, I truly believed we'd have the same kind of love. And for a while, it seemed like we did. Jason and I met during our last year of college. He was charming, with just the right amount of ambition and calm energy that made me feel grounded. We didn't rush things, dated for a couple of years, lived together, and finally tied the knot in a small backyard wedding that felt more like a family picnic than a grand event. It was simple. It was sweet. It was us. For the first few years, everything felt smooth. We got decent jobs, moved into a cozy townhouse just outside Portland, and shared the responsibilities of daily life: groceries, laundry, car repairs, Netflix queues. There was love, but the intensity had faded, the kind of slow dimming you don't even notice until you're sitting in the dark. I didn't realize how far apart we'd drifted until I met Evan. He was a new hire at the marketing agency where I worked. Evan was loud, confident, slightly arrogant, but in a way that made people listen. He had that effortless charisma that made women laugh too hard and men want to compete with him. He wasn't my type, not even close. But there was something about him that made me feel alive again, noticed, maybe even wanted. Things Jason hadn't made me feel in months. It started innocently. Late nights at the office, brainstorming campaigns, exchanging jokes, comparing playlists. One evening, we were working on a pitch together. The clock struck 9 p.m., and the office was empty except for the hum of computers and the quiet static of a radio playing somewhere down the hall. Evan leaned back in his chair, stretched, and looked at me. "You know, you're really something, Rachel," he said. "You're sharp and you actually listen. Most people don't." I laughed it off. "Well, I'm married, so don't get any ideas." He smiled. "Relax. I wasn't making a move, just giving you credit where it's due." But something shifted in me. I walked out of that office with his voice replaying in my head. I don't think I'd heard a compliment like that in months. Maybe years. The weeks that followed were like walking along a cliff's edge. Every word from him, every glance, every casual touch felt like a test. I kept telling myself I wasn't doing anything wrong. But deep down, I knew I was slipping. Then came that one evening. The rain had just started falling outside, the kind of soft drizzle that made the windows blur, and the whole city feel like a dream. We had just wrapped up another long client session. I grabbed my coat, but Evan stopped me at the door. "Wait," he said, his voice lower than usual. "Don't go yet." I turned around. He looked serious, not playful like he usually did. "Evan, just don't talk. Please." And before I could think, he stepped forward and kissed me. It only lasted 2 minutes. 2 minutes. But it was really hard for me. Not just because I kissed another man while wearing the ring Jason gave me. Not just because I let it happen. But because in that moment, I wanted it. I wanted more. When I pulled away, I was shaking. I stepped back, breathless, my heart pounding like I had just run a mile. Evan looked at me like he was waiting for a sign, a signal that I was his now. But I just grabbed my bag and left. The drive home was a blur. I parked the car, sat in the driveway for nearly 20 minutes before finally stepping inside. Jason was on the couch, half asleep with the TV on. He looked up and smiled. "Hey babe, you're late. Everything okay?" I nodded. "Yeah, just tired." I kissed his forehead and went straight to the shower, where I cried silently for half an hour. I told myself it wouldn't happen again. I'd set boundaries, cut ties. But the next day at work, Evan avoided me. No glances. No jokes. It hurt more than it should have. I wanted him to act like everything was normal. Instead, he acted like I didn't exist. I was the one who crossed the line. Yet he held the power now. That imbalance gnawed at me. For days, I felt like a ghost in my own marriage. Jason didn't notice. Or maybe he did and didn't say anything. We had stopped communicating about real things long ago. Our conversations were transactional. Dinner plans, rent, who would take the car in for service. We hadn't touched each other in weeks. I knew I had to come clean. But how do you tell the man who trusted you most that your lips touched someone else's, and for 2 minutes, you forgot he existed? I didn't tell him right away. Instead, I buried myself in work. I kept my distance from Evan, even though every cell in my body wanted to get close again. I started waking up earlier, going on long walks, doing anything to avoid the silence that had crept into my marriage. One night, Jason and I were sitting at dinner. The silence between us was louder than the clink of forks. "Do you ever think we're, I don't know, stuck?" I asked. He looked up. "What do you mean?" "Like going through the motions. Like we're roommates, not partners." He put his fork down and sighed. I felt that too. The honesty in his voice crushed me. He wasn't angry or defensive. Just tired. Just like me. "Then why don't we talk about it?" I asked. "Because we're always too busy pretending we're okay," he said. And in that moment, I realized something terrifying. We had both let go of each other a long time ago. We were just too afraid to admit it. A week later, Evan quit. No warning, no farewell. He sent a short email saying he got an offer from another agency out of state. I stared at my screen for a long time after reading it. He didn't say goodbye to me. I never saw him again. Months passed. Jason and I started therapy. We agreed to really try. To dig deep. To hurt out loud. Cry out loud. Be honest even when it stung. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. I confessed to the kiss. Not right away, but eventually. I told him how lonely I had been. How I let someone else fill the void he no longer saw in me. I told him I wasn't proud, but I needed him to know the truth. He didn't yell. He didn't leave. He cried. And then he said, "Let's fix this. Together." We rebuilt slowly, like strangers reintroducing themselves. Dates, late-night talks, questions like, "What makes you happy now?" instead of, "Did you pay the bill?" It was hard. So hard. But it only took 2 minutes to shatter the image I had of myself. And it took everything I had to put the pieces back together. I don't know if Jason and I will be okay forever. I don't even know if we'll make it another year. But what I do know is that we're not pretending anymore. We're not hiding in the safety of routine or blaming each other for the silence. And that kiss, the one I wish I could erase, it taught me that even the smallest choices can carry enormous weight. It only took 2 minutes. But it was really, really hard for me. And maybe that's the point.